the last is the IASB resolutions.
So, we received a lot of emails from community members on the IASB resolution. So the general public understands each school board in the state of Illinois has a delegate that's assigned if the school district participates as a member of the Illinois Association of School Boards. So we have a delegate representative, that's Ms. Laura Ruska. She serves as our delegate. Every year at the school board's annual conference, resolutions are provided for the Illinois Association of School Boards to consider whether or not they want to support different resolutions or actions as a group or as the association, and whether or not they want to use the association's presence to help advocate through state and local legislation to try to get something approved. One of the resolutions that's up for review this weekend at the school board conference is resolution number 2, which talks about a Student Safety and Protection Act. And what that act, I believe it was initiated from someone in a rural school district, but I think the School Board Association is looking as whether or not they should support allowing school districts to consider arming teachers or staff members that have gone through specific training and background checks, etc. And so we received some emails this week from community members encouraging us to not support resolution number 2. And I thought, and the board president thought, it'd be appropriate to allow the board just to use this as a brief discussion item tonight to, if anybody wanted to discuss or cite their concerns or their support or whatever they have in relation to this resolution, so that Laura is clear kind of where the board as a whole stands in regards to resolution number 2.
Well, just so everyone is aware, when these are proposed, first I'll make sure that all the appropriate documentation has been submitted and that they can even be voted on. And all that we're voting on does not mean that this is going to become law. It just means that we are saying that we want the association to lobby for this in Springfield. That this is something that they will support the lawmakers to pass legislation for. When we go to the delegate assembly, typically there's about 430 school districts represented. There's a little over 800 school districts in the state of Illinois. Every school district has one representative. So Chicago only has one representative, which so many as there are. One of the things I have learned is that Southern Illinois has very different needs than we do. And we have police departments across the street. We have a lot of resources where in Southern Illinois, the kids are getting on a bus and they're driving 50 miles to school. They have some of the teachers and some of the staff members doing double duty in their rural communities, and their needs are very different than our needs, even though we're one state. And so one of the things they encourage us to be open is to allow, when the appropriate measures are taken, that the schools in the southern part of the state can also function, given their resources. So I think that thus will probably be a lot of discussion on this on Saturday. And each of the districts will explain why it's important to them and what they're looking for. But
my response to the community members that submitted
Right.
emails was that as a superintendent working with the school board, the initiative of hiring a school safety liaison, which is an armed police officer in our building, and the other measures we have taken with our Raptor system, our new check-in spots, all the different safety, that would not be something as a superintendent, I don't think myself or our school board would be looking to do, is arming our staff or our teachers. But again, I think this was an opportunity, and that's how I responded to those emails, but then I also made clear that I can't speak for the entire board, so we could use this opportunity just to make sure Laura's clear on what direction the board would like her to proceed on Saturday.
Because voting for the resolution does not in any way take away local control. It does not in any way impose anything upon us.
But it would actually
What it
give local
gives
control.
is it gives control, like let's say to a downstate district whose nearest law enforcement is 30 minutes away, it gives them the ability to choose for themselves. Is that right, Laura?
It
Like
gives the direction to our lobbyists to tell our lawmakers, this is something we'd like to happen. We're not voting anything into law. We're just directing the association to lobby for this.
Assuming a majority of our board members say
Right,
go that
right,
way.
right.
And a majority of the
Right.
members at the meeting
Right.
agree to adopt it.
So if they agree to adopt it among the 400 boards there, all it does is it tells the Association of School Boards that this is important to all the schools in Illinois. We want you to tell the legislators in Springfield to pass this, to allow every school district to make up their own safety rule, right here, the safety plans, safety and protection plans.
Well, I will tell you what my position on it is. It's ridiculous. I think teachers should teach, administrators should administer. I think overall the odds of there being a shooting in a school is low. You need to protect against it. That's what we did. I understand it's different in other areas, but I'll tell you the other perspective. My father was a deputy superintendent of the Chicago Police Department. I can remember one time he was telling me a story, like 10 policemen shot at one guy 71 times and nobody hit him. And these are people who are supposed to be trained to do it. I think you're at a bigger risk of having staff walking around with guns, of having them taken from them or being shot or a kid shot than you do knowing whether somebody who passed a test and can hit a target with a gun is actually going to be there and be able to shoot at somebody else and hit them and not somebody else to stop it. I think the odds of this being helpful are a lot less than the odds of the risk of having teachers or administrators walking around with guns and also I think they should do the job they're there for and not be worried about it. I think this is a bad idea.
Okay,
And I
so-
don't care where the school district is.
Okay, so Tim would say Laura votes no. Gina?
I mean, it's hard because is that something I would support here? Never. But do I feel adequately prepared to make a decision for a district that's downstate? Like, no, I believe very strongly in local control and they having the control to make the decision what's best for them. So voting yes for this just simply says that the IASB would advocate to the legislator to let them make their own decisions.
Yeah, I mean, the sentence
Right?
says.
Like, is that
right.
a fair?
Yes, because it says, the Association of School Boards shall support and advocate for legislation which provides local school boards the option of developing students' safety and protection plans, which may include teachers carrying guns, may include.
Well, you don't need to pass a resolution to the first one. It's required under statute to
Right.
have a safety and
Right.
protection plan. So you don't have to, you can take that part. It may include them to give them the right to do that.
Right. I mean, this state is a conceal and carry. I think this is probably why maybe this is coming up. I don't know. You know, it's, if you're not in the city, I can't imagine us ever needing that here.
Right.
You know, that's not our world. But I'm not in southern Illinois where it's 50 miles to the closest police station.
Yeah, like when I put my administrator hat on and I think if the safety and security of the students and staff is my responsibility and law enforcement is 30 minutes away, and granted, that's not the situation here. I agree with Laura, like, we're not in that situation, so I would never in
Right.
a million years support that for us, ever.
Right.
I don't know, because I read through it and I kind of highlighted, because it says that, you know, in very clear language, that if the resolution were adopted, it would not compel or require any school district or school board to develop or implement any such trained or armed staff plan. So even if we voted yes for this, this does not mean in any way, shape, or form that we would support that here. because
Right.
I wouldn't.
You know,
I know that's like splitting hairs,
I
but.
have like no interest in
Yeah, what do you
arming teachers. I think.
No,
think
and I
it's-
don't either.
I don't think, and I think we could pool the teachers and we'd get 100% no interest.
I
But-
agree.
But having said that, we have Lane, we have an armed person in the.
And we have a
person.
police
So if we
station
had
2
a
minutes
teacher
away.
that came up and said, oh, I've got my license for this, and I've got my training for this,
Yeah,
and I'm a
yeah.
reserve officer with the Riverside and Brookfield Police, well, then maybe he could petition us, and maybe we'd say no, but, you know, that, I think that's his right, and I don't want to take that away from him.
But we'd have the right to entertain that.
We
So-
would have, and we'd
so
have the
that's
right to
what
say
this-
no.
Right,
but-
Right,
but
that's all
he-
this is saying.
right,
but
that's all this
if-
is saying, is
Right,
that we'd
so-
have the right to entertain that.
But isn't there another,
Right.
is there another simple way of looking at it? First of all, most of the resolutions the IASB supports, a lot of them never get anywhere in the legislature.
Yeah.
Right? You know that.
Absolutely.
In fact,
Absolutely.
the great majority of them
Right,
don't.
right.
And if this is really important to people in the rural area, they don't need the IASB to do it.
Correct.
They have to
Right.
go to their own legislature and
Right.
say, this is really important to us. And instead of bringing in people from other districts that don't think it's a good idea, let them lobby with their own legislators and get the thing passed.
It's a fair point.
I don't know why the IASB is getting involved in this.
The ISB is not getting involved. What the ISB allows every school district is to submit a resolution, and this school district submitted a resolution.
Right.
It's they have that privilege to do that, and that's what they submitted, and it's come to the floor. They filed all the appropriate papers.
Well, let me flip it the other
I
way.
certainly won't want to pay any money.
Recently, they had
to make this. I mean,
Recently-
no way.
Recently, they had a resolution that they wanted to, somebody had a resolution, or there was a bill, that the minimum pay for teachers should be at least $35,000.
$40,000.
Starting at 35 and going to 40 over a number of years. The ISB was against that idea, because let the local people do what they want. I mean, I think it's more important that we pay teachers enough money to want people to teach, which isn't a problem in our district, than it is that we take a position on whether there should be teachers walking around with the guns in the schools, that they're not paying them $35,000 a year. That makes
Like a
no
really
sense
bad
to me.
plan.
Yeah, so, I mean, however the board wants to go, it's a board decision.
I think Laura's looking just for some direction
Yeah.
how she wants to vote as our delegate.
I say no.
Okay.
It's a fair point, Tim, that they have another avenue to take.
Yeah,
So knowing they do have another avenue to take,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I don't
I
think
guess
we
no.
should ask
I guess
somebody to
no, Laura.
lobby to do that.
right,
I'd vote no.
yeah, I
Okay, there
guess
you
no.
go.
Okay.
Okay? And so,
I
as I
appreciate
stated,
the discussion.
Yeah.
well, as I stated earlier, I think we received a lot of public comments.
Yeah.
And so, just some emails from community members, and the board president asked that we put it on as a discussion item. Tim, can we move on?
Yeah. Unless our attorney or reporter want to make comments, we can skip that part.
No visitor statements.
So no visitor statement.